Hi everyone, my name is Kylie Franzak and I'm going to be your instructor for your summer session of English 101. Welcome! I just want to take a couple of minutes just to kind of show you guys just kind of the course, the standard setup and things like that, just so that way you guys are familiar with, again, the layout of it, where to go to find information and things like that. So this is going to be our course homepage here. We have our English 101. At the top, you're just going to have some important information. Again, this is summer 2025. Instructor, me. Again, my name is Kylie Franzak. If you guys have to email me, reach out to me or anything, you can call me Miss Franzak, Professor Franzak, whatever works for you. This is my email right here and my Zoom link in case you guys ever have any questions or you need anything. You can always email me. You can always email me and ask to Zoom if you guys want to meet in person about anything. I'm local to Arizona, so I'm available to Zoom throughout the summer if you guys end up having any questions. Below that is just going to be a basic course overview, some basic required materials, and then some information on how to get in touch with me. One of the important things, and I'll go over this a little bit in the syllabus in just a couple of minutes, I ask that you guys, if you have to reach out to me for any reason, then please go ahead and email me using your ASU student email. And I would ask that you guys email me at my ASU email as well, which is going to be this kfronts@asu.edu. Okay. I know some instructors or you guys might be used to maybe using the Canvas inbox feature. I don't always get notified right away if you send me a message in Canvas, which is why I ask you guys go ahead and email me. I get my emails directly to my phone, so the chance of me being able to respond to you right away, especially if there's something that's urgent that comes up, is going to be a lot higher if you email me as opposed to sending me something in Canvas. So anyway, this is what's going to automatically pop up every single time you log into our course Canvas. The one thing that I would suggest to you guys is when you're over here and you're trying to find information, I know it can be kind of enticing to maybe go to assignments and things like that, maybe even go into grades. But what I'm going to suggest to you guys is always go to modules, okay? In modules, that's really going to be your bread and butter. That's where you're going to find absolutely anything and everything and really be able to follow the sequence of the course as I've set it up for our semester. Okay, so the very first module here is going to say start here. It's in caps. That's for a reason. Start here. Okay, these are going to be some really important basic course materials and things like that that you'll probably need to continue to reference throughout the entire rest of this semester for the 6 weeks that we have together, which is why it's going to be at the very top. Okay, you're going to have your syllabus, a reading and assignment schedule. Again, what you saw on the homepage about contacting me, sending me an email, I have it also right here. So in case you forget what my email is or anything like that, you have that information here. Then you're going to have the course outcomes for English 101. You have a student version of those course outcomes, and then just a course outcomes FAQ. That's going to be basic. What exactly does this mean when you say a cultural logic, or when you say that we need to show resilience through the writing process? Just what does that mean, and what are these outcomes for? And then some basic information on MLA format. Okay. Again, like I said, all of these are pretty much going to be like your bread and butter, things that you might continually go back to and want to reference throughout this semester. The syllabus is probably going to be one of the first and most important things. The way that I have things set up in here is you'll always have a link that's going to go directly to a Google document. So I work exclusively in Google Docs. So you'll have the link provided directly to whatever that document is that's going to be in Canvas. But then if you are in Canvas, you're also going to see I have the link for that document embedded into Canvas as well. So you can just scroll through if you really want to try and find whatever information you need, or you can go ahead and access it through the Google document. Okay, just a couple of things that I want to highlight and point out really quick in our course syllabus. Again, you have overview, description, the course outcomes, and all of those things that you're going to be able to find directly in Canvas. You're going to have an explanation of all of the major assignments. So for this course, we're going to have a couple of different types of assignments. Every single week, you're going to have a discussion board, then you're going to have peer reviews, you'll have first drafts, and then final revisions. Okay, so you have those 4 major different types of assignments. And again, you'll probably have 2 to 3 different assignments due every single week, just depending on what we need to accomplish. And again, we'll go over that in a couple of minutes. Okay. But class policies, just a couple of important things to highlight really quick. Getting in touch with me, like I said, please make sure that you guys use my ASU email. You do not use the Canvas inbox feature. Okay. use of generative AI in this course, you're going to see, and as we get into a couple, like your first unit and the first assignments that you're going to be doing, I do allow you guys to use generative AI in this course, provided, number one, I explicitly let you know within the assignment directions that you can use generative AI. And that's usually going to be, you can use it to invent ideas, you can use it to maybe come up with some brainstorms and things like that. The only way that I don't really allow you to use generative AI in this course is it can't really do or produce the writing for you. Okay, so if you say, here's the outline for an assignment, can you help me with some different ideas, or I need, a new way to say this thing, or I don't really know how to say it and you use ChatGPT or something, that's totally okay. But what's not okay is if you say, hey, I need a introduction for this essay that I'm writing, and ChatGPT writes an introduction for you and you copy and paste that into your essay. That's academic dishonesty. That's not okay. Okay, so we'll go over that again a little bit more. I'll have some information on generative AI. But again, you are allowed to use it in this class provided you account for it in your works cited page and provided I explicitly say so in the assignment directions that you can use generative AI. Okay. Returning graded work, because this is a really quick 6-week summer course, I will typically have things graded and returned to you within a couple of days. Your shorter assignments, like your discussion boards and things like that, will usually be graded pretty quickly. Your final essays will probably take me a week max to be able to get back to you. Okay. No extra credit in this course. When you're submitting assignments, I ask that you guys use Google Docs exclusively for submitting and turning in all of your assignments, okay? That means you are using Google Docs throughout the entire writing process. So you open up a new Google document, and that's where all of your drafting, that's where all of your revisions and your planning and things like that is going to be happening for any of your major projects or things that you're going to be turning in. So that includes a rough draft, that includes your final revisions. Everything needs to be turned into using a Google document. Okay. That's just so that way I can make sure. I like to leave suggestive edits in your documents. The way that we're going to peer review, your peers will need editing access to your documents too. So it's just really important that you're, again, showing all of your work and things like that. It's kind of like a math class. Okay. You need to be able to show your work to get the credit for the answer. You using Google Documents is the same way for me as the teacher to be able to sort of check your work as you're going through it. Okay. And that kind of goes back into our generative AI policy. It's just a safe bet for both of us, me and you. As long as you use Google Docs, then I can check your version history in case anything happens and you say there was an issue with this. If I have a question about anything, it helps me see your writing process, which is really helpful when I'm assigning grades too. So just please make sure that you guys are using Google Docs for everything in this course. Okay. Attendance is pretty basic. ASU will define your attendance for an online class as having more than 4 absences. And that means that if you do not submit your assignments 4 times by the due date, then that counts as an absence. That means that you will be dropped from the course. Okay. So just make sure that you guys are staying on track. Again, it's a 6-week course, so things are going to move pretty quickly. So just make sure if you have any questions or anything that you're just reaching out. Okay. Everything else is going to be pretty basic and pretty standard. We use standard grading policies here in the course. Again, public nature of writing and instruction. Everything that you write for this course needs to be specifically for this course. Okay. Make sure that if you want to use something that maybe you have written or used in another course and you want to use that and revise or use ideas or anything, again, just make sure that you're always checking with me first. Reach out, email me. You're probably going to hear me say that a lot, that if you guys ever have any questions about anything and everything, just reach out, email me. I am always here to help. Okay. So going back to modules, again, that was our syllabus. You have your reading and assignment schedule here, which is going to be pretty basic. Again, we have 6 different weeks. We have 3 units within those 6 weeks. I'll update this in case there are any modifications or changes or anything. But again, given the nature of how quickly this course is going to move, you can pretty much bet that the way that it's set up is going to be the way that it's going to be. Okay. Last really important thing is going to be MLA formatting. You guys are going to be using MLA for this course. You have a ton of different resources available in here. If you guys have any questions on how to set something up in MLA format. So you have a bunch of different readings that will show you guys how to format a paper, how to use in-text citations, again, what is a style guide for that? What does a sample paper and things like that look like? How to use a citation generator to actually create your works cited page. How do I cite generative AI in MLA format? And then you have a bunch of videos that kind of go along with what some of these readings are. So you're going to have a specific document, or sorry, a video that's going to show you how to set up a Google document in MLA format. You have a couple of ASU specific videos for, again, how to create an in-text citation, how to use in-text citations, how to cite generative AI. Okay, so I like to use a lot of videos, but then I also like to provide text, like readings and things. And I do that so that way you guys have the choice to be able to say, do I want to watch a video or would I rather read something? I know all of you guys are different. We have different learning styles, so I like to provide more resources than probably what is necessary, but that's so that way you guys kind of get to pick and choose and see what information do I need, and you can pick the resource that's going to best benefit you. Okay. The last thing that I really want to show you guys is throughout the entire 6 weeks that we have in this course. Okay, we have 3 different units, and so each of these units are going to take 2 weeks. So weeks 1 and 2 are going to be unit 1, weeks 3 and 4 are going to be unit number 2, and then weeks 5 and 6 are going to be unit number 3. So things move pretty quickly. Okay, the way that you can really expect each one of these units to kind of go through is going to be, you're going to have an overview for every single week, which is really going to give you just kind of, again, what to expect for the week. So this week we're going into unit number 1. You have a rhetorical analysis of a public debate. It's going to give you the different assignments and then some learning outcomes that are going to be associated with what that week is going to entail. Okay, you're going to have learning materials here that are going to, again, be a mix of some readings and some videos. Again, those are going to be things that I'll let you know, do you need to skim? Do you need to go through the entire thing? I'll give you an overview of what some of the videos and things will entail, but again, the readings and the videos are going to be pretty redundant with one another, and that's intentional. So you get to pick and choose what works for me. If I say something about, you need to include ethos, pathos, logos, and you go, I don't know what that is, chances are it's going to be in the learning materials. So you can go back, you can find a video, you can find a reading or something that's going to have all that information. And then you're really going to have, for the first week, you're going to have discussion boards, and then you're going to have a rough draft that's going to be due for each one of your units. And then the second week of each unit is going to be a peer review and a final revision. Okay, so every single week you will have your overview and your learning materials, and then again, weeks 1, 3, and 5, so all your odd weeks, which will be the first week of each unit, is going to have a discussion board, which is going to be some sort of invention activity, and then you're going to have a rough draft due. And then on all your even weeks, so weeks 2, 4, and 6, you're going to have a peer review and a final revision due. Okay, that's pretty much the basic overview, basic structure of how the course is going to go. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, so that way you guys can kind of take some of that information in, go through the course if you want to, just start clicking on some random things, and then I will see you guys again in another introduction video for week number 1. I'll see you guys soon. I'm so glad to have you in this class, and let's get started.